You're not going to believe this, but the WNBA just lost its golden ticket. Caitlin Clark, the superstar who was supposed to save women's basketball, is packing her bags and heading to Europe.
There could be a team overseas who would love to snatch Caitlin Clark away from us and give her a crazy offer.
Can you imagine what this means for the league? Ticket prices are crashing, viewership is plummeting, and now everyone's wondering if the WNBA can even survive without her.
Let's just say the ratings aren't the same with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever now eliminated. Game 1 of the Aces Liberty matchup on Sunday drew an average of 929,000 viewers. However, that was down nearly 50% from last Sunday's Fever Sun contest. By the way, not only was viewership down, but attendance was as well.
But here's where it gets really crazy. A'ja Wilson, the league MVP, is sitting there, watching her own value tank. Faster than a brick three-pointer
for this franchise. It is hard as shit. It is hard as shit, because there's tons of people that want to break you down.
She's got to be thinking, I've won championships, I've got the trophies, but now nobody cares. It's like Clark swooped in, stole all the attention, and left the WNBA scrambling. You've got to see how this is shaking up the entire world of women's basketball.
A'ja Wilson has had the most difficult season of her career. She couldn't get the credit she deserved because Caitlin Clark showed up, and this is proof that her life is 10 times as hard as, to get the same credit. She's MVP of the league, I think, for the 3rd time. She's won 2 championships. She's got a statue at the University of South Carolina. Have we not done enough to celebrate A'ja Wilson? Have you contributed to her life being 10 times as hard?
Caitlin Clark's arrival in the WNBA wasn't just big. It was a seismic shift that rocked the entire league overnight. This rookie sensation transformed women's basketball from a niche sport to must-see TV. We're talking sold-out arenas, merchandise flying off the shelves faster than you can say buckets, and TV ratings that had network execs doing double takes. And that upset players. A'ja Wilson.
A'ja Wilson, the MVP of the WNBA, the greatest player in women's basketball that nobody cares about.
But here's the thing, all that excitement came with a hefty price tag. The WNBA, in their desperation to capitalize on Clark's star power, put all their eggs in one basket. They marketed her as the face of the league, the savior of women's basketball, and the ticket to mainstream success. And for a while it worked, like magic.
All I know, when they got eliminated from the playoffs, the attendance dropped, the ratings dropped. Now I wouldn't need to know, because it's the old guard, and it's this and that. So what's the reason now?
Now you should have seen the frenzy when Clark's jersey hit the stores. It wasn't just out selling other WNBA merch. It was giving NFL superstars a run for their money. We're talking about a women's basketball jersey outpacing the Dallas Cowboys. Can you even wrap your head around?
Caitlin Clark continues to set the bar when it comes to her impact on female athletics. She's got one of the hottest selling jerseys in sports, y'all, according to Fanatics, led by the one and only Michael Rubin. Clark's Indiana Fever jersey is apparently sold out in all sizes. It was rumored that she actually outsold Dallas Cowboy jersey.
WNBA's reliance on Clark exposed a major weakness in their game plan when she exited the playoffs earlier than expected. It was like someone pulled the plug on the whole operation. Suddenly, all those fair weather fans who jumped on the Clark bandwagon disappeared faster than a defensive player trying to guard her three-point shot.
Now give me the reasons why. She's gone. Is the old guard still watching? Why are these fans? If the WNBA is more, it is, and I get it. Why aren't people watching?
You say the ratings have dropped since Fever had been eliminated?
Yes. Look at the attendance when the Fever play your favorite team and look at the attendance when they don't.
Now, you might be wondering how much money is the WNBA really losing without Caitlin Clark? Well, let me tell you, it's not pretty. We're talking about a potential financial Mel Boo down here without Clark's star power driving ticket sales, TV ratings and merchandise revenue. The league's facing a serious cash crunch
as the team progresses through the playoffs, tickets get more and more expensive, which is why I was incredibly confused to see tickets at the Target Center in Minnesota selling for as low as $10. According to StubHub, seats that are damn near courtside, they're going for $65. You can sit directly behind the female Suns bench for $60.
Think about it, when one player can make or break your entire financial model, you've got a problem. The WNBA put so much stock in Clark's ability to draw crowds and boost ratings that they forgot to build a sustainable foundation. For the rest of the league, now they're scrambling to figure out how to keep the lights on without their golden goose on
StubHub this morning. I noticed that the upper bowls of the Target Center were unavailable. I wonder why. They're not offering tickets in those sections because they can't sell the damn seats in the lower bowl.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Clark's impact wasn't just about the money. She brought a level of excitement and attention to women's basketball that the WNBA had been dreaming about for years. She made people who'd never watched the women's game before sit up and take notice. And now that she's heading to Europe, the league's facing a moment of truth.
It seems like she's probably going to make more money overseas in EuroLeague than she did during this WNBA season.
Can the WNBA survive without Caitlin Clark? That's the million-dollar question everyone's asking right now. The league's at a crossroads, and their next move could make or break the future of women's professional basketball in America. They need to figure out how to keep fans engaged, how to market their other stars, and how to create a sustainable business model that doesn't rely on a single player to keep the whole ship afloat.
If you look before Caitlin, the attendance was around 5,000. Since Caitlin, she sold out every game this year, so that's an increase of about 10,000 tickets per game. The average ticket price has gone up, say roughly $100. So that right there is looking at $1 million per game. And so if you take that times 14 home games, that's $14 million. And that's not even considering anything else.
The WNBA's crisis isn't just about losing Caitlin Clark. It's exposing cracks that run deep through the entire league. Imagine being at the top of your game, only to watch a rookie steal not just the spotlight, but your entire legacy. That's exactly what's happening to A.E.L. Wilson. And her reaction is sending shockwaves through women's basketball.
A'ja Wilson, the MVP of the WNBA, was caught on tape reaching to, wagging her finger at, telling to Caitlin Clark, teammate, about her, white privilege.
Picture this: your AIA Wilson, a three-time MVP WNBA champion, and the face of the league for years. You've put in the work, racked up the ACO AIDS and built a career most players can only dream of, but suddenly it's like none of that matters anymore. All because of one rookie named Caitlin Clark.
Well, I mean, look, I want to be a little sympathetic towards Miss Wilson. After all, for the first time in a long time, people were actually watching her play basketball, so that added stress of the much bigger audience certainly came into play.
Wilson's not just watching Clark steal the spotlight. She's watching her take the paychecks too. Can you believe the financial gap between these two? Wilson's max salary in the WNBA is around $230,000. Clark, she's looking at potentially millions with her new contract in Europe. Even more than Diana Taurasi when she played in Russia. It's enough to make anyone question their career choices.
Now, it's not out of the norm for WNBA players to play during the regular season and then during their off-season play overseas. This is something that has been happening for like the entirety of the WNBA. It even went as far as to 1 year in 2015, Diana Taurasi played in Russia and did not play in the WNBA. And it was never outright stated that she didn't play in the WNBA because Russia basically put that in their contract, that if she went there, she couldn't play. But that was pretty much what everybody thought happened because Russia paid Diana Taurasi at that time $1.5 million salary to play in Russia.
Now, you might think an MVP would be above petty jealousy. Think again. Wilson's frustration boiled over recently when she said, "I don't want to be great for you guys." That's not just a throwaway comment. It's a sign of how deep this rift is running.
I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna try to be the best. I don't wanna be great for you guys.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Wilson's not just mad, she's questioning her whole career. Imagine pouring your heart and soul into a sport, becoming the best of the best, and then watching as a newcomer gets all the attention, all the hype, and all the financial rewards. It's enough to shake anyone's confidence.
I don't understand this line of thinking. I don't think it, as you said, it doesn't fit the day and age in which we're in. And then the other thing, and I think this is probably the worst thing, it engenders not just a sense of victimhood, but a sense of envy and ingratitude, because you can never be thankful for where you are because you're always saying, well, if I was only white, I would be even further.
And it's not just about the money or the fame. We seeing her entire legacy threatened all those endorsement deals, those public appearances. They're all under scrutiny. Now, some experts are even suggesting that Wilson's marketability has taken a hit because of Clark's rising star power.
There should be a hashtag now, Stop Asia Hate. But it's amazing, but this is the problem that a lot of people have with Caitlin Clark fans and supporters. They don't buy into it. And I'm going to mention this again. One of the more interesting aspects of this fanhood is that some of the biggest supporters of Caitlin Clark are not whites. They're actually black males. So that has become something that for them, that word, problematic.
So how is AIA Wilson reacting to being overshadowed by Clark? She's not taking it lying down. That's for sure. Wilson's reaction is shaking up the whole league, and you won't believe what she's saying. She's calling out the inequities, challenging the status quo, and forcing everyone to take a hard look at how the WNBA values its players.
I don't understand this. Many of these people, like Asia, are so used to being able to dispense and force white guilt upon others that when people don't comply, then it becomes something they can't even handle. Really. And so I just find this whole thing interesting about the television ratings and who's supporting and now people are leaving. This has become, Jason, and tell me if you agree or disagree. This NBA playoff ratings dip post Caitlin Clark is the sports version of white flight and gentrification. You hate it when they're here. You don't like their presence. Oh my God, look at what they're doing. They're so awful. Then when they leave, the Caitlin flight, oh my God, what do we do now?
This isn't just about Wilson versus Clark. It's about the entire structure of the WNBA. Can a league survive when its established stars feel undervalued? What happens when the next big thing comes along and overshadows everyone else? These are the questions that are keeping WNBA executives up at night.
This is the danger of this league built around angry, social justice, lesbian feminists.
The next big thing isn't just coming, it's already here, and it's got a European accent. You think Clark leaving for the playoffs was a gut punch? Wait till you hear about the full court press. Europe's putting on WNBA talent. What happens when the league's brightest stars decide America's no longer the land of opportunity?
Ready. Half the WNBA right now is overseas playing in some foreign league right now because they don't make enough money during the WNBA season to take care of themselves at the level they want to for all year. They're already playing in rival leagues.
We're not talking about a few players dipping their toes in international waters. This is a full-on exodus, with WNBA stars packing their bags faster than you can say, fast break. Can you believe it? The very league that was supposed to be the pinnacle of women's basketball is watching its talent drain away like S through an hourglass.
And with players able to, make money off brand deals and this and that, and their celebrity rising, there could be a world where more of these private-owned EuroLeague teams, I could see some of these teams going after some of our star players in the WNBA. And if the money makes sense, if the business aspect makes sense, we could lose more players.
Now, you might be thinking, why would these players leave the WNBA? It's simple, money talks, and Europe. Speaking a language these athletes can't ignore. Imagine you're Caitlin Clark working your tail off for a max salary of about $230,000. Then you look across the pond and see contracts worth millions. What would you do?
The commissioner told her that she could make $700,000 playing in the WNBA through marketing this and that. I don't know what Kathy was talking about, because even the highest paid player in the WNBA currently makes a little over $200,000 in salary. And then I don't know what the WNBA does with their marketing dollars, but it's definitely not going to equate to $700,000.
But here's where it gets really crazy. It's not just about the paycheck. These players are chasing something the WNBA is struggling to provide respect and opportunity in Europe. Women's basketball isn't an afterthought. It's a main event with packed arenas, rabid fans, and media coverage that makes players feel like the stars they are. And the WNBA is not making Caitlin Clark feel welcome.
A crazy offer. I mean, Ice Cube was about to give her $5 million to play in less than 10 games in the Big Three. So the money is there, and if these owners are smart with it, I could definitely see more WNBA players going overseas and possibly not returning.
Meanwhile, back in the States, the WNBA is scrambling like a point guard, trapped in a full-court press. They're trying to keep their talent, but their checkbook's coming up short. It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight. They just don't have the financial firepower to compete with these European offers.
There has been so much discussion about the discrepancy between the WNBA salary and the NBA salary, because as we all know, NBA players make millions and millions of dollars.
So now everyone's asking the million-dollar question, will Caitlin Clark ever return to the WNBA after playing in Europe? The answer to that could make or break the league's future. If Clark stays overseas, it could open the floodgates. Imagine a WNBA where the best players only show up for a few games a year. If at all, it'd be like the NBA without LeBron. Steph and KD, would you still watch?
But with all of the drama currently surrounding the WNBA, on top of the low-paying salaries, some of these players are questioning if they'll even return.
This isn't just about losing a few star players. It's about the WNBA potentially losing its identity as the world's premier women's basketball league. If the top talents all playing in Europe, what does that say about the quality of play in the WNBA? How long before fans start tuning out, sponsors start pulling back, and the whole house of cards comes tumbling down?
So there was a huge boom this season. There was a huge boom in merchandise and television viewership and sold out arenas and all of these things, which I feel like the WNBA could have capitalized on it even more. And if there wasn't so much drama in the league, with that, more money should come and these players should be able to make more money.
Just when you thought the WNBA was down for the count, they're cooking up a comeback that'll make your head spin. We're talking about a complete overhaul from how they market the game to how they pay their stars. But here's the kicker. It's not just about saving the league, it's about revolutionizing women's sports. Are you ready to see how deep this rabbit hole goes?
4 million. The numbers don't lie here. It is not just a delusional fan base who is just delusional, but they're not really tuning in. No, these people are coming in waves to watch one player who has sold out every single arena that she has played in this season. The Fever attendance is 200,000 more people this season than any other organization. The Liberty is next at 400,000. 200,000 more people came to watch the Indiana Fever than any other team in the league. So if we take a look at this line chart, we can see the dip in 2021 because of COVID, and then this huge spike in 2024 for you. When we look at the numbers and when we look at what the WNBA has earned over the past years and the entirety of the WNBA, the numbers actually make sense. It's actually not that unfair what the players are paid. Now, that might all change because of this season, but in the past, the only on record revenue that I could find of the WNBA is 60 million. Yet all of these eyeballs were coming to the league because of her. The Indiana Fever was turning away games into home games every single time that they were on the road. You even had Dallas Wings players saying it kind of sucks seeing so many Indiana Fever in 2020 or 22 jerseys in the stands, but it's also cool to see a lot of people in the stands. Indiana Fever was turning away games into home games, and so it's kind of sad that through all of that, Caitlin was still advocating for players on the other team to get bonuses because she saw the kind of money and eyeballs and viewership that all of this was generating.
Because when you look at the numbers with Caitlin Clark there, her first playoff game drawing 1.84 million viewers. Ridiculous numbers. The highest rated playoff game since game 2 of the 2000 WNBA finals. This wasn't even just an opening round game back in 2000. This was one of the finals games. So this clearly is showing how much of an impact Caitlin Clark is having. A total of 22 WNBA games clocked north of 1 million viewers. That surpassed the standing record of 15 games set in 1998.
You see, what entitled players in the WNBA just can't seem to understand is you get what you put in, and right now, you are getting exactly what you deserve. All season, you have complained about Caitlin Clark. All season, you have allowed your jealousy, your bitterness to cloud your judgment. All season, you have allowed your emotions to take over, which got in the way of what could have been an unbelievable year that set the foundation for the future of the WNBA.